All right, guys, here we're back to install the top. I'll show you a couple things that I did ahead of time and worked on for a little bit. Here's the hatch. I put the edging on it already, so I wouldn't have to do that on camera. It's pretty simple to do. Lay it on. I use a little glue myself to keep it down. You don't have to, but I don't want to have to be fighting labor to put it back, to get it back up all the time. Sometimes after they age, they sit for a little while. Little hint, try to give you all the stuff I learned while I'm doing this. I got this little taper bit from Harbor Freight. Last thing you want to do, I've learned, is run a drill through your fabric. When I was putting on the top, I had that problem. First corner I did, I was running the drill, went to run the drill down, and I mean, I was trying to be real gentle because I knew the suede was there, and I mean, it just wrapped up in the drill bit. So what I've found is you drill through as gentle as you can. You don't poke the felt if you can help it. And then what I've done is, after the hole's drilled, or on the pre-drilled holes like these hinges, you just take the screwdriver and you put it in the hole a little bit, just enough to move the felt, and then this little reamer, or as Harbor Freight calls it, a stepless bit, you can just stick that in there with your fingers, and it cuts that carpet out, and the sound deadening stuff really nice. So you can put your bolts, your nuts and your bolts in it without tearing your fabric, because they don't really push through very easy either. I probably should have pre-bolted the hinges on, but if I pre-do everything, you're not going to see anything. Alright. One thing I do like about Plan B's kit is, it's probably kind of hard to see, they got these little washers. They're rubber. I mean, you could get them at the hardware store, but it's nice. They put nice sealing washers in with the kit. So we're just going to bolt these hinges on. There's 3 holes in the hinge and only 2 holes in the top. One thing I've been using that did not get supplied is flat washers. I'm using flat washers on the nut side of everything, because they have like spurred locking nuts, and if you start spinning them on your fabric, it's going to chew your fabric all to hell. And again, with most of this stuff, you just want to put it on there loose. That way you can adjust it afterwards. You got nuts and washers, we just need bolts in. Obviously the rubber washer goes on the outside. Oh, I don't have nuts. All right. And again, guys, all this stuff can be done by yourself, can be learned by yourself. Can be learned on the fly, which is how I learn most things. I have been an automotive technician for over 30 years, but upholstery, yeah, carpet, I don't do that. So a lot of this is new to me too. But like most things, with a little bit of mechanical ability and a little bit of patience, there's not much you can't accomplish. All right, so we'll spin you over to the truck so we can go ahead and start mounting this. Take my strap off from still on there when I mount at the top. Get that out of the way. You'll probably hear me mention Harbor Freight on occasion. For stuff like this, when you're doing stuff yourself and it's a one-time project or a two-time project, buying some of these tools can be pretty expensive. So, I mean, if you're really gonna do a project or, hardly ever use this stuff, Harbor Freight tools aren't a bad way to go. And they're inexpensive, and especially on your one-use job. It gets expensive to buy really high-end tools to use them once. You'll find out I do a lot of things on my own. I usually just kind of figure out how to do it. Like that. Nuts and bolts probably gonna stay there. Just throw them in my pocket. Well, with the way things went on here, I guess I was real concerned on how they fit. Thinking I'm finding out I put my stuff on the wrong end. The holes are off quite a long ways. Slide it down a little bit. Wow, it's still really a sweat stretch, folks. Nothing cardboard in there. Alright, so now I gotta figure out which holes I want to re-drill, because one thing you'll learn when you do stuff like this is you will spend 90% of your time modifying the brand new stuff that you just bought that's supposed to fit. Because this is supposed to fit. They're pre-drilled holes, they're their pre-drilled holes, they're their hinges. They ain't even close. Worst part is they're not off a whole hole, so you can't just re-drill them. They're off 3/4 of a hole. So that's pretty lovely, and that's with the steel. I took off the stuff I had in there for anti-rattle that came with the kit that you're supposed to put in there. That made this, obviously made it a little fatter, so I took that off to try to see if I could get the holes to line up, and yeah, they still don't line up. So the question is, do I want to put the hinges here and re-drill the ones in the top? And of course I already poked all the holes in my suede. So those are going to look like there's going to be 2 frickin' blind holes, or 6 blind holes, no matter how I do it, which makes me really happy. All right. Well, I think what I'm going to do, because they don't fit. I mean, that's obvious. And I really, because I already put all the holes in the suede, I don't want a bunch of black holes in the suede, looking all stupid. So what we're going to end up doing, and I'm not going to do it on camera, but I'll show you the after effect. And again, you can do it with your basic hand tools. What I'm going to end up doing, I'll come down to you guys. Let me pull this other hinge off. That way I don't have to climb back up here. Now I got to put my piece of trim back on too. Alright, I'm coming to you. Alright, so what I'm going to do, because with these bolted up in the factory holes that are there, that are supposed to be there and you're supposed to use, these 3 don't line up. So either these 3 aren't going to line up or these 2 aren't going to line up. Again, I already punched all 5 holes in my suede because they're pre-drilled holes. You would expect everything to fit. It's off about 3/4 of a hole. So what I'm going to do, rather than punch new holes in the top and then I'll have blank holes in the suede that you can see, I'm going to take these 2 lower ones. They don't even have a 3rd one in it, which I am going to drill, but they don't have a 3rd one in it. I'm going to go ahead and oblong these just a little bit. Basically what I'll do is I'll just take another drill bit, I'll take a drill bit, and I'll drill another hole right next to this, right next to that, and then I'll take that step bit from Harbor Freight, seeing how I got it, and I'll just kind of wiggle it between the 2 with it in the vise, and I'll hog that out, and it'll make a nice channel. Then I'll be able to adjust it. I actually got to go up, so my oval is going to be the other way down, but that way I can adjust it up. These 3 holes will line up. I can still use my existing holes in my top, and then I'll drill the 3rd one that won't be slotted. So I'll do that off camera. We'll talk to you in a little bit.